coming out in 2025, one of my most anticipated films was the final Mission Impossible chapter, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. It seemed like this movie would almost certainly be great. You had Christopher McQuarrie in the director's chair once again. Tom Cruise was the biggest movie star in the world, riding off of the heels of Top Gun: Maverick and Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. I loved Dead Reckoning, and the trailer for this movie looked so awesome. So imagine my shock when I walked out of the final film in this franchise, and guys, I didn't like it. I'm sorry guys, I really wanted to love this movie, but I'd be lying if I said I did. But here we are, the Mission Impossible finale is here, and I was so disappointed. Let me explain. Hi all, I'm the Grinning Critic and I love talking about movies with a grin. Now, I found the early reactions to this film to be rather fascinating. This film is seemingly very divisive, and if you love the film, then great. I'm truly really happy for you. Although I just stated I was disappointed by this movie's end product, there are many aspects of this film that I believe are totally worth celebrating. Christopher McQuarrie still has a brilliant knack for directing action, with tons of engaging white-knuckled fights, using a large amount of practical stunt work done from Tom Cruise, who still brings his A-game to these movies. I just don't get how this guy does it. It is genuinely insane what he does. There's this one action sequence in the film in particular, which seems to be this movie's major selling point, which is done on a plane, and I have no idea how this stunt was achieved. The impressive camera work and the stunt coordination from Tom Cruise is otherworldly. It is phenomenal. I'm so glad Tom Cruise didn't just clock into work. He's giving the audience what they want, and that is something I really respect about him. There are several fantastic character moments, with many of the main characters being given very satisfying arcs. The film is gorgeously shot by Fraser Taggart, using a vast colour palette for poetic expression to effectively convey the mood of many scenes. The musical score is excellent and adds a sense of earned tension to the movie. The sound design is immersive in transforming you into the picture. A Best Sound nomination is well deserved here. But while production values are important things to have, the story of a film in and of itself is far more important. That's where this movie falls in its face. The plot of this film is that there is an AI entity that's taking over the world, and it will destroy the world unless the IMF acts fast to stop it. AI is significantly increasing in its capabilities, and I think it's important that we address this as a collective society. Film is a great way to express views and concepts how we should think about things. This film's exploration of artificial intelligence feels so dated in its concept, where the threat is too big, unbelievable, and generic to allow for the viewer to grasp its scope, not even explaining its existence, how it is bringing with it such a global threat, and its capabilities beyond the most generic answer possible. The film has too many subplots, and few of them work well. There is a subplot about some people in the military that adds nothing to the movie, and it feels like an inclusion to give the film some kind of emotional punch. There is a subplot with a group of spies that added no purpose to the movie, but served rather as a way to propel an action sequence to engage the audience after being exposed to a whole bunch of boring, expository dialogue. All of these subplots make you forget about the things that truly matter. The core characters. While I felt like I knew Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt character fairly well, a lot of the characters I didn't feel like I knew as well as I should have. I feel as though this movie does some very poor character progressions, not doing enough work with these characters. They set up something very interesting with the character Paris from Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, but they don't do all that much with it. There was so much potential of what you could have done with a character like this, and they really don't do that much, which is a real bummer to say. And the character of Benji, while he's given some stuff to do, he should have been given far more to do. S.I. Morales plays the movie's villain, and while he is excellent in the role, I didn't feel like he was anywhere near as compelling as he should have been. He's not given anywhere near enough of a backstory, and he's not given anywhere near enough screen time. And he seems to have some mysterious henchmen that can appear whenever it's handy to him. You don't really know a lot about him. He's got no real character in this movie, and that really sucks to say. Now let's talk about the movie's major issue. Its runtime. The film is 2 hours and 49 minutes long. Now, I'm not someone who just hates movies being long. You don't believe me? Well, my two favourite movies of the last year, Wicked and Dune Part 2, were both over 2.5 hours long. I believe that movies should follow this simple rule. If a movie has a story which requires a 60-minute runtime, then the movie should be 60 minutes long. If a movie should be 4 hours long because of the story that it's trying to tell, then the movie should be 4 hours long. What I hate is when a movie is just too short and the story isn't given enough of a chance to flesh out. And what I also hate is when a movie is too long and overstays its welcome for the story that's being told. In the case of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, the film greatly overstays its runtime, which is its biggest problem. There are scenes that feel bloated, overly long, and unnecessary to convey story beats, leading for this movie to feel like scenes were short and the editor didn't cut them down to improve pacing. To avoid spoilers, I'll say that there's a specific point in the film that revolves around a submarine, and the film gets to this submarine by adding these obstacles that feel unnecessary and purely as a means for runtime extension. I was just thinking, sitting in my seat, when is this going to end? Why are we introducing these unnecessary characters? What is the purpose of doing all this? Why does this movie have to be so long? I wanted to love Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. But I would be lying if I said that the 8th and supposedly final installment in the franchise wasn't a major disappointment. I'm going to give Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning a C+. Look guys, this is not a terrible movie. There are many redemptive qualities about the film. It just suffers from a lot of unnecessary sequences and some very disjointed storytelling. Not that this film is anywhere near as bad or anywhere near as offensive, but I could liken this film a lot to my opinions on The Rise of Skywalker, where that film is just so bloated, has so many unnecessary subplots, and doesn't really advance the characters in any way. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm the Grinning Critic, and don't forget to subscribe to me. It'll make me grin again, that's for sure.